This video is about how to clean a gravel bike or a road bike when riding in the UK. Because in winter conditions, you really do have to stay on top of this. And this is how I do it. There are lots of bike cleaning videos on YouTube, and I'd urge you to look at a few. But what works for the pros with brand new kit or people who live in sunny climates does not necessarily translate well to the worst of the British weather. If you've been out riding off-road, if you've been touring, or if you've been commuting. But here's the thing. There seem to be as many ways to clean your bike as there are cyclists, so this is just my way. And people will object. I hesitated to do this video for that very reason. And rather than give me just a thumbs down, perhaps make a constructive comment as to how you do it differently, or perhaps you've got an idea that I haven't had. Add that in the comments below, and then we can all learn from your experience. If you just need a fast clean and your chain only has road grit or tyre rubber from tarmac, you can clean the frame with soapy water, then use those horrible baby wipes to run the worst off the chain. I do not recommend this because the wipes are seriously unfriendly for the environment, and do not flush them down the loo. If your chain is actually dirty, like this one, they won't work. So the main part of this is going to be what I call a medium clean. Now I have a hose rigged up and I've got bike stand, but I'm going to assume you don't have those, so I'm going to do it with the bare minimum of equipment, just a bucket and a few essentials. A bucket, keep everything in here, a small selection of brushes, a chain bath, more about that in a moment, some very mild degreaser, this is muck off for the bike frame, an eco-friendly degreaser, only for use on the drive chain, nowhere else. I'll suggest some options later, and some clean rags. Stand your bike in such a way as you can rotate the pedals without them bashing on the ground or a wall. Wet the bike, spray the frame with muck off, and leave. Now the drive chain. Gloves go on. With a paintbrush, work the degreaser into the cassette. Don't go near the ends where it could leak into the bearings. Paint the degreaser on the jockey wheels. Unhook the chain and paint it onto the chain ring too. If there is gunk stuck on this chain ring, we'll deal with that next. Leave all this on 5 minutes. I have 3 degreasers here. All say they're environmentally friendly. All must be diluted. Virosol comes in 5-litre bottles and is the cheapest. Dilute by at least half. That way it'll not damage aluminium components. Here are 2 other brands. I'll put links to these in the video description. Right, that's 5 minutes. An old scrubbing brush is great for getting the gunk off the chain ring and off the jockey wheels. Pop the chain back on. A stiff brush cleans the cassette. Now we clean the chain. This is a chain bath. The expensive ones just are better. Fill to a level with degreaser, clip onto the chain and slowly run the chain through. The brushes work the degreaser into each and every link. Depending on how dirty it is, you might have to do this twice. Leave it on for a few minutes. With a sponge and clean water, get all the degreaser off the bike. If you have softer brushes, you can now pay attention to the bike frame or continue to use the sponge. Any really stubborn spots, paint some diluted degreaser on and wash it off. For a deeper clean, take the wheels out. Turning a bike over is considered bad form, but if you don't have a bike stand, I just do it and not worry too much. Muck off on the rims and leave. This is a spoke brush and it's good for getting in between them. You can give the cassette a better degreasing, again taking care not to get it into the hub bearings. If you really want a clean chain, split it, which is easier with a SRAM Magic Link, and soak it in degreaser, then use pan scrubbers to clean the outside. With the wheels out, you can get a sponge into all the tiny little places, especially between the seat and chainstays and in between the forks. You can leave this to dry for a few hours, but don't forget about it or bits might get flecks of rust. Then take a cloth over the whole bike, drying what you can, including the chain. Now use a chain gauge to check it for wear. If you're unsure about how to do this, we have a video all about checking your chain. Wax or lube? That is the question. Hamlet was wrong. This is the big one. Now, I'm not into baking wax on my chain, that sounds like too much faff, but I've heard good things about this one, which goes on like a regular chain lube. So I'm going to try that on my bike, and that'll be the subject of a separate video when I see how well that's gone. But for this one, we're going to stick the traditional way of lubing your bike. Stick an old cloth under the chain because this will drip. Starting at the magic link on this SRAM chain, dab each link with a drop of lube. Remember how far you reached, rotate slightly, then go again and again, until you're back to the link where you started. I then hook the saddle onto something and run through the gears just to get some lube onto the cassette. Excess lube is then wiped off. Moving parts get a tiny shot of spray lube with a cloth behind so none of the spray goes on a braking area, in this case the rotor, or it will squeal. If you do get some on, use solvent on a clean cloth to clean the rotor. Well, that's how I clean my bike, or rather in this case, my wife's bike. I'm sure you have tips and tricks you'd like to add, and please do so in the comments, then we can all learn and try and keep them positive, please. If there's stuff you'd like me to cover, add that too, and if I think I know about it, I will, but I won't try and BS you. As winter draws on, there might be less of the exploration stuff that you normally find in my channel, but we'll try and keep that going, and I've got some ideas to add a few different things as well. So if you subscribe and hit the notifications, maybe give me a thumbs up, that would be fantastic, please, and I'll see you again next time.